Hello and welcome back to the Black Hills Connection podcast. And today our special guest is Jordan Combs.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Good. Thanks for being here. So we met a few years ago now. I did a story with you. You and your wife have a nonprofit called Light of Mine Ranch. It's focused on foster care. So let's just kind of take us back a little bit. You and Mallory, high school sweethearts, right?
We were.
The football player and the cheerleader.
Yep.
I love this story.
And basketball and soccer.
And, I mean, all the things, athlete and the cheer, right? You guys are such a cute couple. So kind of talk about, like, after you got married, sort of like, and like it's just about your journey into foster care and adoption.
Sure. Yeah. So we moved here in 2015. We're originally from Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
Born and raised there, went to school at the University of South Carolina, got a criminal justice degree, never really worked in law enforcement, even though some things are comparable.
Sure.
Joined the Air Force 2 years after that.
Okay.
And we had been married for 2 years. We actually got married 2 weeks after college graduation.
Oh, wow.
So we decided just to start life head on.
Right.
And we ended up in Washington State for about a year and then moved to the Black Hills. And I was in the Air Force and we didn't have any kids and we were doing a lot of adventuring around the Black Hills and just kind of settling in. And we had been married for 5 years at this point.
Okay.
And started just having that kid conversation, like maybe it's time to start having some kids. And my father-in-law was actually adopted from South Korea.
Oh, okay.
And so we had some family history there, and you know, in the process of talking through it, we're really just like, how about we adopt, or why don't we try to adopt maybe from another country? And so we started thinking about that, praying about that, and then got involved in some things locally where they were sharing about adoption and foster care, different agencies from around the community. And when they were talking about foster care, there was just such a big need that we decided to step in there. We were prepared to be patient and wait and raise money, because that kind of stuff can be expensive, and God just put it on our heart to start doing something now, right here,
Right.
because there's just such a big need. So initially we wanted to adopt from foster care. There's a lot that goes into that. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that being the
Right away.
the idea
Yeah.
to go into it as, because the goal of foster care is that reunification. So
With the family.
there's lots of other ways you can make an impact in foster care. It doesn't always lead to adoption.
Sure.
But we were pretty naive. If you had asked me about foster care back then, I knew nothing about it. Like, it's really interesting how you can think back of, like, it just wasn't a part of our lives, like, at all. I don't know that I could really even explain to you about it. It was kind of like this government thing that was going on. Kids were, getting taken care of, which was good, but we really just didn't know anything about it.
Sure.
And so I always try to put myself back into that perspective when I'm
Yeah.
doing stuff, because I realize that other people are the same way. I mean, they just don't really exactly know what's going on with
Right.
foster care.
Sure.
So we were learning. I remember our first foster parent training, when we introduced ourselves, our why you want to get into foster care, kind of as a joke, was like, because we're young and like too dumb to know any better. Like we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into at all, but really God had led us to that. So the adoption thing was still a part of it, but knowing that going into it, if we were saying yes to foster care, it may or may not happen. So we started that in 2016, and we've been foster parents ever since. So we've had kids for almost 2 years. We've had kids for a week. We've had kids for a weekend, 6 months, 8 months, all different types, all different kinds of kids. And then we started having some kids of our own. So our family's at 5 right now,
Yeah.
5 kids.
You have 2 adopted? Is that right?
Two adopted,
And 3
yep.
biological?
3 biological.
Okay. Yeah.
The youngest one is 1.5,
Yeah.
and the oldest 2 are 12.
So you're saying your house is like just crazy town most of the time?
It's pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy, yep.
Cool though, very cool. Okay, and then so that's kind of your story about how you got into it, the short version. And then you and your wife, you started Light of Mine Ranch because you kind of saw this concept of like how foster, children and families can live. So kind of talk about what that concept is.
Yeah, like originally we were wanting to get more foster families, and then we started talking to people, and they just a lot of tough things going on in life, like house isn't big enough, all we got is this little car, some financial things, just all kinds of different things. We started making kind of like a mental list, and just thought like, well, what if we could take away a bunch of those obstacles? Like, what if we could give somebody a house that was suitable for a large family? What if we could give them a van that they can get these kids around and stuff?
Right.
Because of the few foster families, a lot of foster families have a bunch of kids.
Right. Yeah.
It's not just like one; they have a bunch.
Because they open their doors.
Right.
And now,
yeah, and sibling groups, and brothers, sisters, all that stuff. So we started looking at that, and felt like God was really calling us to just help support those families. And so what started as like an original idea of what if we put homes on a big ranch property, because it is South Dakota.
Yes,
we don't want to build a neighborhood.
Right.
But hey, there's all these acres, there's a home over here, there's a home over here, but they're getting the support of an institution, just more focus on the family environment.
Right.
And that was the original plan, textbook story, drew it, someone's like, you need to draw this out, right?
Yeah.
So you have to draw it out on
Yeah.
a piece of paper, what it's going to look like. And
Yeah.
it's changed a lot over the years, but then started realizing that there were other places like this around the country.
Okay.
And so one of the ones we got plugged into is Big Oak Ranch in Alabama. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful place. They've been around for, I think, 40 years.
Oh, wow.
And so, they have like an alumni program where they keep up with their kids.
Cool.
They have more than 20 homes. I don't want to give a huge number, but they have more than 20 homes on like a 400
on
acre
one property.
Yeah.
Wow,
And,
that's amazing.
so they're kind of like our inspiration. I got to
Yeah.
go tour there and just see how they do things, and the way they honor the families and the kids is it's really special. And there's not a lot of turnover with the families that do it. They end up getting into it, and they
Staying.
just do it like basically their whole lives. And
Wow.
yeah, so it's a really cool concept to do that, and like I said, just give them the support they need to get through the day. When you're looking at those families with 6 kids, we've known families with as many as 11 kids,
Right.
then it starts to take away from the kids a little bit. And so we wanted to bring the focus back to the kids and be like, okay, yes, their life is different, but like, how do we allow them to be kids the most we can? And really offering the foster parents that support is the best way to do it.
Yes.
Because you don't want to move a kid from one crisis to another,
Right.
and just help support that way.
So if they can kind of just stay in the place. And I feel like another part of your mission is like enriching these kids' lives. So, I know we talked about it earlier, but you're also doing things like funding like karate lessons or something for these children, so they're not just like, oh, I'm here now I'm passed around, I'm here, like nobody sees me really, or, like nobody's investing in me.
Right, yeah,
sort
we
of.
want them to experience the things that kids are experiencing, and just because they moved, transitioned to another family and there's a lot going on, doesn't mean that they should miss out on things. And,
Yeah.
it can be hard when it's temporary to sign a child up for guitar lessons, not really knowing like,
Right,
will they
what's
ever
gonna
get to do
happen?
this, or
Yeah.
sign them up for a sports team and talking to the coach and saying like, hey, they might have to leave mid-season and stuff. And so that can deter a lot of people from even starting. And so we just wanted to keep encouraging, hey, sign them up for this, sign them up for that. If it's a financial issue, like we want to help support you there. Make sure that they're going to camps in the summer and things,
Yeah.
and just do things that might at face value seem overwhelming to a family that has multiple kids.
Right. Yeah.
And that aren't really sure of the future, because really you're just not ever sure of that future. But
Right.
yeah, we definitely want them to learn new skills and continue to grow and develop, not just be like, okay, you're in foster care, now you're just like waiting for life to happen.
Right.
You still gotta like live life. So
Live.
it's kind of cliche, but I used to always say like, foster care shouldn't be like a waiting area, it should be a launch pad. Like we should be preparing this child for the time that they aren't in foster care. So
I love that.
that's kind of our goal there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you guys are doing such great things, and people can actually help you by donating to you and such. But then you also opened a foster care closet. So talk about that.
Yeah, so that kind of came from the ranch is going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's going to be something that when we find the right people to get behind it, we can develop that out. It's the long-term vision and something that hopefully is around for 100 years when it does happen. But we also recognized that there was a lot we could do in the community right now.
Right.
And so that's what we started the sports and the camps and things, and then funding some items like bunk beds, bicycles, doing things for birthday parties, adoption parties. And as we just continued to offer support, people had more things to offer. So then they're like, hey, I have these bunk beds, or I have this
Right.
stuff. And we collected it into our garage, and we tried distributing it from our garage, and then we basically just ran out of space. I had people saying, literally walking through their house, like, you can have that crib, you can have that car seat, you can have that bicycle, you can have that little go-kart
wow.
thing. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't have anywhere to put
Yeah,
it. So
garage fills up fast.
I'm posting on Facebook for other people.
Right.
Letting the foster families know, hey, I know somebody that has this stuff.
Right, right.
And then at the same time, the foster parent network was, somebody would have a crib, and then nobody would need one at that moment.
Sure.
But then somebody would need it like 2 weeks later, and everyone's like, well, there was a crib, but
where did it go?
So that
Yeah.
that connection on Facebook was there were some gaps there.
A miss, yeah.
And so we just thought, what if we had a place that we could just keep all this stuff, and people could come whenever they needed it. And so
Yeah.
the crib isn't just this post on Facebook, it's at a place that people can come.
Yeah.
And we have room for all these donations and things.
Yeah.
And it's really worked out so far.
So really, any foster or families who are fostering children can come in, grab whatever they need for free, and like on a daily basis. I mean, you're open a lot.
Yep, we're open mostly every day.
Yeah.
We post our schedule on Facebook so
Okay.
that people know when we're open. And yeah, we have all kinds of stuff. Basically, I tell people, because they ask, like, what kind of stuff do you want to donate? And we do have a list on our website, but
Oh, okay.
it's really anything that a family would need, anything that a kid would need. We take
Okay.
wall decor,
Okay.
something you might not think about, but
Sure.
when you have a child placed with you and you're not really sure what do they want on the walls, what
Yeah.
kind of bed sheets do they want,
Sure.
like things like that. And so, some of the staple things are more like the toys and the clothes. So we definitely take that stuff, but there's a lot of other just items that you need in your life. A lot of baby items, a lot of swings and walkers and car seats, and so we have all kinds of stuff. We do have people that come and they're looking for like one particular thing,
Yeah.
and they end up leaving with a lot more because they didn't realize that we had what we had.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
And that's located in Black Hawk.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. It's kind of just like a little warehouse.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a unit, and so I think there's 6 of them. We have one of them. It has a finished lobby, a bathroom, and an office, and then it's just a pretty big kind of warehouse-looking
Surplus.
thing.
Yeah.
Big 17-foot garage
Yeah,
door
it's
that opens
nice.
in the back.
I mean,
and-
I've been in there before.
Yeah,
It's nice.
yeah.
And then where could people find that? Is it like, say, what the Facebook page is? Is it Light of Mine Foster Closet? Or
Yeah, so
how-
we our organization is Light of Mine Ranch, but when
Mm-hmm.
we opened the closet, we just added that tagline to it, the foster care closet or
Oh,
foster
okay.
care closet.
Okay.
So back to those 2 things kind of going on.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we have a website, so lightofmineranch.com, and some of the Facebook links to the website, because not everybody has Facebook, but
Okay.
Facebook is the best way that we get information out these
Yeah.
days, especially to the
Just
foster
fast.
families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what a great asset for foster families. Like,
Yeah,
wow.
it's one of those things that, like, people don't really realize. And there's this picture of a child in foster care maybe showing up with a trash bag of stuff, and the reality of it is a lot of times they don't even have the trash bag.
Wow.
I mean, there's so many families come and like, I just got a kid and they didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Or maybe just one little welcome bag. And so, I mean, we have families that leave with anywhere from hundreds of items to 50 items. So those people that come, they're looking for one thing, and they'll come get one thing, and that's
Yeah.
it. But it's the one thing that they needed.
Yeah.
And so we just keep trying to find ways to improve the quality of the stuff. That way they have good options to choose from, and steward the donations so that we can reuse really good things. And so, yeah, we've since the summer, we've given away 1,800 items.
Oh my goodness.
And that's literally anything from books to hygiene products to clothes,
Wow.
toys, everything.
That's amazing. And really, any foster family, like in the Black Hills area, sort of can come.
I mean, if they're
Yeah.
coming from Sioux Falls and they're a foster family, we'll help them out.
Okay.
And anywhere, if you're visiting and you're a foster family,
wow.
then like you're
Okay.
welcome. Yeah, but yeah, our primary is in the Black Hills. We also do kinship families, and sometimes they're categorized different than foster families, but really they're doing the same thing. I mean,
Sure.
they're taking care of kids that need it, and so yeah, we're just there to help.
Yeah. So for you, I mean, you've been doing this a long time, obviously. What's been the most rewarding part for you? And I know it's like a huge question because there's probably a lot that's rewarding about doing foster care.
Yeah.
But I guess at the end of the day, how has it meant the most to you?
I think one of my favorite things is when, and this might sound weird, but when I hear people in the shop talking about it, and they're not really talking to me, they're like talking to each other. And you know, just this morning actually, there were some ladies getting some stuff, and they hadn't had kids in a long time, and so they were kind of sharing about that. But they had kids now, and one of them, you know, said to the other one while I was like on the other side of the shop, and she said she was just relieved. She's like, now I don't have to worry about all this stuff. Because you know, she was able to get so many different kinds of things. It wasn't just clothes that she got, and so we were able to check off a lot of boxes there. I remember another lady talking about how, you know, we really saved her from having to go all around town to
Yeah.
different places,
Yeah.
and even with the kids, when the kids find out everything is free.
Oh, yes.
You know, I have kids that come up and they're like, "How much is this?"
Aw.
And I tell them that it's
can
free,
have
and then
it.
they go tell their siblings, like, "Did you know everything in here is
Oh,
free?"
how sweet.
And so my job is to be as generous as possible. I leave the rest up to the parents. So when kids ask me for stuff, I try to direct them to their parents. But it's up to me. You can have it. you know?
Right.
And you know, it's funny. Parents, some of the louder toys and things that make a mess, they're like, no.
I
And,
about that.
so they're being careful about what they're getting as well. But
Sure.
It's yeah, those little moments are kind of what keeps us going on a daily basis. Just
Yeah.
being able to help and know that people are able to get what they need to just continue doing what they're doing. They're making a huge sacrifice. I think a really big thing for me is that it's not always about like the finances and like the financial support. And it's like, you know, one of the things I say is you might be, you know, a surgeon or something, and you could still use the closet, because it's about having a community of support. It's about knowing that like you're not doing it by yourself, that, you know, we're all helping with these kids. And so, you know, it's not like a money thing. It's more of just like a we're here for you thing.
Yeah, support.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Because right now, I mean, we know the numbers are pretty staggering about children in foster care, you know. So it's the need is more foster parents, more supportive people in that sort of line.
Yeah, we definitely need more foster families. There are a lot of little initiatives out there, groups of people meeting regularly, trying to figure out, you know, how do we get more foster families? How do we keep the ones that we have longer, and that sort of thing? And one of the things that I've really been thinking about is it's interesting because when we look at this foster care system, and, you know, the good things, the bad things, whatever, we're looking at it as a system that is like completely overwhelmed, right? The number of kids outweigh the families by so much.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, what if it was the opposite? You know, what if there was just so many families, you know, instead of 1,000 kids and 100 families, what if there was, you know, 2,000 families and 1,000
Right.
kids, right? So then every little, you know, facet of foster care becomes so much different because it's not overwhelmed anymore, and the families have support, and the kids have people around them that aren't, you know, burnt out and that sort of thing. So yeah, we definitely are always encouraging people to look into it. You know, not everyone can be the foster family, but, you know, there's so many ways you can support a family, and I know those things go around social media and are super, super important. But I think sometimes we get in our own little world, and we hold ourselves to such a high standard that we go, I can't do that. Like I'm working, you know.
Or I'm
it's
not,
like,
I don't have enough patience, or I'm not, you know.
yeah, and it's like I'm not the best parent or something like that. And
Yeah.
it's something that you know, we just got to look at sometimes and go, but what can I do? I can still do something. And maybe it's a learning process. When we started, we had no kids. We had never been parents before.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Wow.
we apologize to those kids we had early on or whatever, but
Throw you right in there.
it was a learning experience. And,
Right.
you know, I always tell people, because sometimes they're like, well, we both work. You know, I'm like, okay, so you're
Right.
a normal family to an
Sure,
extent, right? Like lots
sure.
of families have kids, and
Yeah, and they
both
work. Mm-hmm.
people are working, and you know, there's childcare out there, things that the state will help with, and but ultimately, if you're tucking that child into bed and you're waking them up in the morning, like you're making a huge impact in
Yeah.
their life, because that's probably something that they didn't get in a very stress-free environment. So
Right.
it's something that anybody could do.
Because I know, you know, we've talked about this before, but like one of the myths sort of is like, well, I'm not like a good enough parent. I could never do that sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, and the big thing, of course, is like, well, I'm going to get really attached to this child.
Yes, I've heard that one.
And
too.
it's actually like really important that you do get attached to the child, because that's what the child needs.
Yeah.
And it does make things difficult, you know, but it's something that you don't know the future, but you know this child right now. You know this child today. You don't know tomorrow. And so you can't let all the tomorrow stuff
Yeah.
affect how you treat and how you know, love and grow this child that's in front of you right now,
In the
right
present.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's just, I mean, there's so many stories of connections that were made that last forever. And there's connections where you're like, that child is in God's hands now. Like, I'm not really sure what came of it,
Right.
but I planted a seed, and I know that whether it was a week or a month or 2 years, that child was loved for that amount of time. I don't know about anything else, but I know that much.
Right. Yeah. Because really, at the end of the day, you know, it's about the kids, you know, and just having a heart for these children who are like going through these trying times, you know, and just loving them. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of people have different causes that they feel for, and for us, this is what God put on our heart, and it really is the kids. It's like, it's one of those textbook scenarios where the child had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Right,
They're just
exactly.
they're just a part of it. A lot of times don't even really understand what's going on. I always thought it would be cool to do like a simulation experience where you take an adult and you move them out of their job and put them into a different job, like a child would go from school to
Right.
school, or you take
True.
them and put them with another, you know, just to
Yeah.
experience, like that's
Jarring.
very, very
Yeah.
difficult. And so really we just look at it from a standpoint of anything that we could do for this child, we're going to try.
Right.
So that they can experience life. And again, it can be something that helps them and launches them into life, rather than something that when they get out of it, they're looking back like, oh my gosh, that was the worst experience ever. We want to make it much more
Good.
productive than that.
Yeah, and fulfilling. Okay, perfect. I think we covered a lot of ground here, but I'm just going to let you say anything else that you want to add about foster care or your journey or Light of Mine Ranch that you want to add.
Yeah. I mean, really, I kind of said it.
You
but
did.
It's like,
You did
we
good.
need foster families.
Yes.
We need more foster families. And it's one of those things where I look at it, and you look at the population of Rapid City, you look at some of these other, you know, groups of people, and you're going, really? Like, there's only 100 and, you know, maybe 30 people that have signed up to do this out of thousands and thousands. And so
Yeah.
really, if we could just get more, you know, for these kids, and I think there's a bigger impact too, because some of these kids, they end up going out of state eventually, or moving even just across the state could really change the dynamic of your life a lot. And if they're here, you know, we want to keep them here. We want to
Yeah.
keep them in their culture, in their family area, and that sort of thing. And you know, when you look at it on a different standpoint, just society-wise, it's if we can grow these kids and love on these kids so that this temporary situation doesn't end up impacting them negatively for their whole
Forever.
life,
Yeah.
then it really, you know, even just as a society, it's better for everyone.
True.
But again, just looking at, you know, if you're a family and you feel like you just have that little bit of margin where, you know, you don't have to take 6 kids, you don't have to take
Right.
11, you don't have to take a baby you don't have to
Right.
take a
Sure.
16-year-old. Like you get options, you get to choose, and so you really get a chance to just do what works for you and what's on your heart. Like maybe it is the babies, maybe it is the teenagers, or somewhere in the middle. I know when we started, we started with kids that weren't school age. And then when our kids started reaching school age, it just whatever time in your life you're at, you can sort of tailor it to that. I know people that are single that do foster care. I knew people that are older and they really like having babies because they're like they don't talk back, and I just pick them up and carry them.
Snuggle them.
Yeah, just snuggle them.
Yeah.
So there's really a lot of options out there that I don't think people always understand. And
Sure.
yeah, I mean, I think just one more thing is there's a lot of great men in foster care, working in foster care in the foster care system. But I think as a whole, I'd really like to see more men step up. I sit in a lot of meetings where it's all women.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah.
And it's kind of typical because they're the homemakers.
The
They're-
nurture
yeah,
sort of
they're
type,
and,
yeah.
And the men are more like, well, I'm providing.
Right.
I'm doing this thing.
Yeah.
But just there's so much to be said for that fatherly role in a child that's in foster care that might not have ever had anything like that.
Yeah, very true.
And so, yeah, I just think, deep down in my heart, I got this thing that's like, hey, more men need to step up.
Yeah.
A lot of times you talk to people and foster care was their wife's idea, and so it's, I think that there's some room there for growth.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And it's just a huge need. I mean, so many of these kids, the influence that you have as a father and a mother, of course, but just filling in those gaps, and I think that would be huge. So those are the two things that are really on my heart: more families,
More men.
more fathers, more men getting involved, and
Love
yeah.
it. Thank you. Awesome. Well, this has been so great. Thank you so much. And if people want to look you up, Light of Mine Ranch.
Lightofmineranch.com. Yeah, it's like
Perfect.
this little light of mine. I know
Oh,
it's a mouthful.
yes, it's the
But
it's
the
like
song,
the
this
song.
little
Yes.
light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Yes.
So when you're making a nonprofit, you're trying to think of the name. It just
Yeah.
it was perfect because
Yeah.
we're trying to shine a light, and sometimes it starts with something small, and yeah.
I love it. Okay, awesome. Well, thanks again, Jordan, for stopping in.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time.